The Galactic Council chamber hummed with activity, filled with representatives of the galaxy's most advanced civilizations. Towering reptilian figures from the Mortian Dominion, crystalline beings from the Orlithian clans, and dozens of others debated as holographic projections of a strange anomaly flickered above them. The anomaly swirled ominously, its dark core emanating an unearthly glow. Ambassador Evelyn Carter of Earth stood near the edge of the chamber, a calm yet firm expression on her face. When it was her turn to speak, she adjusted her translator device and stepped forward, her voice cutting through the ambient noise. "Esteemed members of the Council," she began, her tone diplomatic but resolute. "Our observatories have detected an anomaly on the edge of the Dali sector. The data is clear, this is no natural occurrence. Its behavior, gravitational inconsistencies, exotic particle emissions, indicates deliberate construction. We believe it to be a remnant of the ancients, a civilization that predated us all." Her words drew scoffs from several representatives. High Arbiter Varian, the imposing leader of the Mortian delegation, leaned forward, his scaled lips curling into a sneer. "Earth," he said, drawing out the name as if tasting something unpleasant, "has long claimed insights far beyond their station. Are we now to believe your fledgling species understands the workings of the ancients better than the Council?" Evelyn didn't flinch. "We don't claim superiority, High Arbiter. We claim caution. This anomaly is unstable. If approached without preparation, it could result in catastrophic consequences." Varian waved a clawed hand dismissively. "Catastrophic? Your kind sees shadows and calls them monsters. We've studied anomalies for millennia. This is no different." Evelyn pressed on, her gaze sweeping the chamber. "Our sensors have capabilities beyond what you might expect. We've detected quantum distortions and time-space anomalies that suggest this structure is not dormant. If it reacts to the wrong stimulus—" "Enough," another voice interrupted, this one crystalline and resonant. It came from Exarch Vylon of the Orlithian clans. "Your theories, though intriguing, lack evidence. We will not halt progress based on speculation." Evelyn took a measured breath. "The evidence is in the data we've shared. Our models predict a 94% chance of activation if approached. That is not speculation, that is science. I urge the Council to consider this carefully. Humanity has nothing to gain from withholding this information. We warn you because it's the right thing to do." Murmurs rippled through the chamber, some delegates nodding in agreement, others exchanging skeptical glances. Varian's voice cut through again, louder this time. "And what would you have us do, Ambassador Carter? Sit idle while your projections hold us hostage? No. The Mortian fleet will investigate this anomaly and report back." Evelyn's expression remained steady, but her voice carried an edge. "If your fleet approaches, they may not return. I don't say this to threaten but to warn. The ancients didn't leave these structures as relics, they left them as warnings. Ignoring their intent is perilous." Varian rose to his full height, towering over the chamber. "Enough of this fear-mongering. The Mortian Dominion does not cower before relics or the whispers of an unproven race. We'll show you what true power looks like." The chamber erupted into a cacophony of voices. Evelyn's aide whispered in her ear, but she raised a hand, silencing him. "Do as you will," she said, addressing Varian directly. "But when your fleet is gone, remember this moment. We offered you knowledge, and you chose arrogance." With that, she turned and left the chamber, her calm footsteps echoing in the stunned silence that followed. The Mortian fleet, a formidable armada of gleaming dreadnoughts and escort vessels, sliced through the void of space, heading toward the anomaly. On the flagship Dominion's Pride, Admiral Cayley sat in his command chair, his scaled fingers tapping rhythmically on the armrest. The bridge hummed with activity as officers monitored the fleet's progress. Cayley surveyed the holographic projection of the anomaly ahead. Its swirling patterns of dark and luminous energy shifted unpredictably, emitting faint but erratic pulses of gravitational force. "Status report," he barked. "Steady approach, Admiral," replied Lieutenant Rice, his young voice tinged with unease. "We're maintaining a safe distance, but the anomaly's energy levels are fluctuating. It's unusual. Kaylee scoffed. Unusual doesn't concern me, Lieutenant. What concerns me is weakness. We've been sent here to prove that the Martian Dominion does not tremble at shadows or the primitive warnings of Earth. Yes, Admiral, Rice murmured, returning his focus to his console. Despite Kaylee's bravado, an air of tension lingered on the bridge. The anomaly loomed larger on their displays, its core an unsettling void that seemed to consume light itself. As they drew closer, faint vibrations rippled through the ship, as if the fabric of space were being pulled taut around them. Admiral, said a science officer, her voice strained, we're detecting quantum distortions intensifying as we approach. These readings match the projections shared by the humans. Kaylee's eyes narrowed. Elaborate. The distortions suggest active containment mechanisms. This isn't just an anomaly, it's engineered. If we cross a certain threshold, we could trigger. Enough! Kaylee's voice thundered across the bridge. I will not have this fleet paralyzed by speculation. We proceed. The ships pressed forward, their shields absorbing the increasing gravitational eddies. On-board sensors struggled to keep up as the anomaly's activity grew more erratic. The faint pulses from its core became sharper, almost like a heartbeat, reverberating through the fleet. Admiral! Rice shouted suddenly. The anomaly, its energy levels are spiking. It's reacting to our presence. Kaylee stood, his scaled fists clenched. Shields to maximum. Full reverse thrust. Hold formation. The fleet's engines roared as the ships attempted to halt their approach, but it was too late. The anomaly surged, releasing a wave of energy that enveloped the armada. The stars around them seemed to blur and warp, and the ship's systems flickered and failed. On the Dominion's Pride, the lights dimmed, replaced by the eerie glow of emergency power. The gravitational pull intensified, and Kaylee's gripped his chair to steady himself. Report! He bellowed. No response from the other ships. An officer stammered. It's as if they've been cut off. The bridge crew scrambled to regain control, but the anomaly continued to distort reality around them. Kaylee stared at the main display, watching in disbelief as the fleet vanished one by one, their hulking forms swallowed by the void. Admiral, Rice said, his voice barely audible. The last transmission from the Vanguard's blade, they said. It's not natural. Kaylee sank into his chair, the weight of his hubris crashing down on him. He looked at the swirling anomaly, now eerily still, as if it had fed and returned to dormancy. The flagship shuddered violently, and the last thing Kaylee's heard before the bridge plunged into silence was the cold, mechanical hum of the void consuming them. At the Galactic Council's monitoring station, observers stared in stunned silence at their screens. The fleet's transponders, once filling the grid with green signals, now showed nothing but empty space. The anomaly remained, inscrutable and untouched. A transmission was sent to Earth, marked urgent. On receiving it, Ambassador Evelyn Carter read the report, her expression unreadable. After a moment she spoke, her voice quiet but resolute. They were warned. Let this be a lesson not of fear, but of understanding. The galaxy must learn respect, if not for Earth, then for the unknown. The Galactic Council chamber was in chaos. Delegates from across the galaxy shouted accusations, their voices echoing off the chamber's polished walls. The loss of the Martian fleet was unprecedented, and the implications weighed heavily on every member. High Arbiter Varion's holographic projection loomed larger than the others, his image flickering as his claws dug into the edges of his desk. This is no coincidence, Varion roared. Earth withheld critical information. They knew this would happen. Humanity must answer for their treachery. Ambassador Evelyn Carter sat calmly at her podium, her hands folded neatly before her. Her expression betrayed no emotion, though her words carried a deliberate weight. We warned you, High Arbiter. Repeatedly. Yet you dismissed our findings as paranoia. If you wish to place blame, you need only look in a mirror. Varion's holographic image leaned closer, his eyes blazing with fury. Do not feign innocence, Ambassador. You spoke of danger, but you knew far more than you revealed. Why else would the anomaly respond as it did? Tell us, what does Earth truly know? A murmur spread through the chamber as other delegates turned their attention to Evelyn. She waited a moment before rising to her feet, her gaze sweeping across the gathered leaders. You are correct, High Arbiter, she said, her tone measured. Earth knows far more than we let on. And now, in the interest of transparency, I will share what we have discovered. The murmurs grew louder, a mix of curiosity and suspicion. Evelyn tapped a control on her console, and a detailed hologram of the anomaly appeared above her. Decades ago, our observatories detected this structure. At first, we believed it to be a naturally occurring phenomenon. But further analysis revealed something far more complex. Its patterns, its composition, its behavior, all point to deliberate design. This is not merely an anomaly. It is a construct of the ancients. Exarch Vylon of the Orlithian clans leaned forward, his crystalline form refracting the chamber's light. And yet you chose not to share this discovery with the council? Why? Evelyn met his gaze unflinchingly. Because we did not fully understand it ourselves. To present incomplete data would have been irresponsible. Over the years, we conducted remote studies, careful not to trigger its mechanisms. What we learned was sobering. She gestured to the hologram, which shifted to display energy readings and complex diagrams. This construct is a containment system, a trap, designed to neutralize any threat that approaches. Its creators left it as a warning, or perhaps as a safeguard. When the Martian fleet entered its proximity, they triggered its activation. A wave of unease rippled through the chamber. One delegate, a serpentine figure from the VRYTH coalition, hissed, "If you knew this, why not stop them more forcefully? Why allow the fleet to proceed?" Evelyn's expression hardened. The Galactic Council prides itself on collective decision-making. Earth, as a junior member, lacked the authority to enforce a directive. We issued warnings. They were ignored. The responsibility lies not with us but with those who dismissed our counsel. Varyan slammed a clawed fist onto his desk. Do not lecture me, human! You knew this would happen, and you let it unfold. What kind of ally allows such devastation? Evelyn's voice rose, sharp and unwavering. An ally that grows tired of being underestimated and silenced. For too long, Earth has been treated as an inferior, despite our contributions and capabilities. We warned you because it was the right thing to do. But we will not bear the blame for your arrogance. The chamber fell silent, the weight of her words pressing down on the gathered delegates. After a tense moment, Evelyn continued, her tone softening slightly. The fleet is not destroyed. The anomaly does not kill, it isolates. They are trapped in a pocket dimension, alive but unreachable. With time and effort we can retrieve them. But this will require cooperation and trust. Exarch Vylon spoke again, his voice calm but probing. And what would Earth ask in return for such cooperation? Evelyn's eyes met his, steady and unyielding. Respect. Acknowledgement of our capabilities. Greater influence within this council. Humanity has proven itself as more than a minor player. It's time we were treated as equals. The chamber buzzed with muted discussions, the delegates weighing her words. Some nodded in agreement, recognizing the value of Earth's insights. Others exchanged wary glances, their distrust evident. Varyan, however, remained visibly seething. This is extortion. He spat. You exploit our loss to advance your position. Typical of a species with no true history, no legacy. Evelyn's lips curved into a faint smile, though her eyes remained cold. Legacy is built, High Arbiter. And today, Earth begins building ours. The alternative is simple, continue to dismiss us, and see where that leads you. With that, she returned to her seat, leaving the chamber to grapple with her words. Silence reigned for a long moment before Exarch Vylon finally broke it. Perhaps the humans have a point. The galaxy is vast and unpredictable. We would be wise not to disregard those who navigate its shadows so effectively. As the delegates debated, Evelyn sat back, her calm demeanor concealing the satisfaction blooming within her. Earth's warning had been ignored, but the lesson had been delivered. Now, humanity's place in the galaxy was undeniable. The chamber was quiet, the weight of Evelyn Carter's words still hanging in the air. For the first time in centuries, the Galactic Council was faced with a species that had not only defied expectations, but also reshaped the balance of power without firing a single shot. Delegates exchanged murmurs, their tones a mix of grudging respect and unease. A representative from the Journ Accord, a small yet technologically advanced coalition, rose to speak. Her elongated form shimmered as she addressed the room. Ambassador Carter, if Earth has truly mastered such technology, then surely you recognize the danger it poses. How can we trust that your intentions align with the Council's? Evelyn's expression remained composed as she stood to reply. We are well aware of the responsibility that comes with knowledge of this magnitude. That's why we warned the Council before any action was taken. Trust, however, is a two-way street. Humanity has spent decades contributing to this body while being dismissed as a minor power. Today, we've demonstrated not only our capability but our restraint. If trust is in question, perhaps it is the Council that needs to reflect. The Journ representative inclined her head slightly, conceding the point. Evelyn continued, her voice steady but firm. The trapped fleet is not Earth's punishment. It is the consequence of ignoring reality. The anomaly was not designed by us, but we understand its mechanics well enough to deactivate it and retrieve the fleet. We are willing to lead this effort, provided the Council supports our terms. A flicker of indignation crossed High Arbiter Varion's face. Terms? He hissed. You expect us to grovel for the return of our people? This is an insult. Evelyn turned her gaze to him, unshaken. It's not groveling to acknowledge facts. The Martian fleet ventured into the unknown with arrogance, not preparation. They triggered a system meant to contain threats far greater than any one species. This was never about humanity, it was about hubris. The chamber erupted into a low hum of debate, but this time, Evelyn noticed several factions were nodding in agreement. The exarch of the Orlithian clans finally raised his crystalline hand, silencing the room. Ambassador Carter, your point is well made. However, for the Council to accept your terms, we must understand the scope of Earth's capabilities. Are we dealing with a species that has merely unlocked a fragment of ancient technology, or something more? Evelyn met his gaze, her voice unwavering. Humanity is a young species, but we have excelled in adaptive ingenuity. We've developed methods to study phenomena that many of you deemed inaccessible. The anomaly was one such case. Through remote observation, careful modeling, and iterative design, we've developed tools to navigate its mechanisms. This is not mastery, it is respect for the unknown. Her words carried a weight that silenced further objections. The exarch inclined his crystalline head. Respect is a quality we can work with. Proceed. Taking a step forward, Evelyn addressed the entire chamber. We propose the following. Earth will lead the effort to retrieve the trapped fleet. In return, we request equal representation in this council, a shared initiative to study other ancient constructs, and a re-evaluation of the galactic hierarchy to ensure no species is dismissed due to age or perceived inferiority. The room buzzed with muted discussion. Some delegates were visibly reluctant, while others nodded thoughtfully. A representative from the Inari Confederation spoke up, her feathered form rustling. And if we refuse your terms? Evelyn's gaze sharpened. Refusal would mean leaving your fleet trapped indefinitely. The anomaly's containment system is precise but unforgiving. Without our intervention, there is no hope of recovery. Consider this not a threat, but a reality. The bluntness of her statement sent ripples of tension through the room. Even Varian, though visibly seething, remained silent. After a moment, Exarch Vylon broke the stillness. Very well, Ambassador Carter. Let it be recorded that the Orlithian clans support Earth's proposal. Cooperation is preferable to stagnation. One by one, other factions began voicing their agreements, albeit with varying degrees of enthusiasm. Varian was the last to speak, his voice a low growl. The Martian Dominion accepts, though not without protest, This council will remember today as the day Earth exploited tragedy for its own gain. Evelyn inclined her head slightly, her tone neutral. History will remember today as the day the galaxy chose collaboration over chaos. Humanity is ready to work with the council, not against it. With the agreement sealed, Evelyn returned to her seat, her hands clasped in her lap. As the council began discussing logistical details for the fleet's retrieval, she allowed herself a brief moment of satisfaction. Earth had not only secured its position but had also demonstrated the value of calculated restraint and unwavering resolve. Later, as she exited the chamber, her aide approached, his expression a mix of relief and awe. "Ambassador, you handled that brilliantly. Do you think they'll truly respect Earth now?" Evelyn paused, her gaze drifting to the vast expanse of space visible through the council's grand windows. "Respect is earned, not given. Today was a step forward, but trust will take time. For now, we've shown them what humanity is capable of. Let's ensure we're ready for what comes next." She walked away, her stride confident but measured, leaving behind a chamber still echoing with the implications of Earth's quiet triumph. The galaxy had been warned, and now, it would never look at humanity the same way again.